Hey guys, welcome to Wrestling Daze and welcome to this opinions video for Smackdown. So much to go through. We've had over 50 responses, so let's get into them. Jaden said Smackdown felt very quick tonight. I like the fact they are pushing Cross's new faction and I feel like it's a whole swerve and that The Rock will betray Roman and help Cody at WrestleMania 40. I also feel like the graphic of the women's chamber match was correct after tonight. So there's quite a few bits to unpack there. The one that I'm going to dial in on is The Rock betraying Roman. Now, I've just got a thought on this. Obviously, we know about the pointing. You lot spoke about that on the live stream. Obviously, it's been looked into, and he does point in Roman's direction when he says, I'm going to make sure that you lose at WrestleMania. So, absolutely, that has got people talking. Obviously, as well, throwing up the twos instead of the ones, that's also got people talking. The fact that he says duo when he's referring to the bloodline, that's also got people talking. I think there's going to be quite a bit of this. I think there's going to be quite a bit of these little Easter eggs, these little subtle things that will get people talking. And it really wouldn't surprise me if we get to WrestleMania with everyone convinced that he's going to turn on Roman, only for him to not, right? Because I think that The Rock could be playing with us as well. It is worth bearing that in mind, that The Rock could absolutely be playing with us and planting these things in there to make us think, oh, I see what you're doing, I see where this is going, only for him to then basically go, what, you thought I was going to turn on Roman? Like, are you really that stupid? You thought I would turn on my family? Blah, 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 blah. I think the turn would happen, but maybe it happens later than what we think, right? So I'm not going to get too carried away with this stuff. I think it's good. I think it's interesting. I think it starts a conversation. I think he absolutely could turn on Roman. I think the Easter eggs are very interesting. And that's kind of something they've learned, I think, from Bray, White Rabbit, you know, all these subtle little things. And Triple H did say we definitely will do that again, those Easter eggs, because White Rabbit was so well received. And obviously, you know, there was Easter eggs and little hidden things before White Rabbit. But I think White Rabbit was a big moment. I think it showed just where this generation are with like that sort of looking at little hints and looking for clues. And, you know, Roman did say, pay attention. Pay attention. Everything we do, we do for a reason. Everything we do has got meaning. He even said that right at the start of his promo before The Rock even came out. So, yeah, I think it's really interesting. Everyone seems to be convinced now, though, because of these things, that turn is going to happen. It absolutely could. I'm not saying it won't, like 100%, but I'm just saying, don't get too far down the road of thinking it's a done deal, because equally they could just turn around and go, what, you thought I was going to turn? And they could go down that path as well. So, yeah, interesting. Really, really fun stuff coming out of that segment. Cameron said Albert and Isla should lean more into their witch or spooky gimmick, kind of like Papa Shango. I think it would be cool if they had smoke coming out of the stick that Alba brings out, or just wearing some small skulls around their neck. Okay, cool. Be good to just see them on TV as a tag team, to be honest. I mean, we have been getting Alba a little bit. We've not been seeing so much of Isla. And honestly, at this point, you do kind of question, why did you call them up as early as what you did? Like, we haven't really done much with them on a consistent basis. So why did we call them up so early? So hopefully big things coming up for them soon. I think they're a very interesting women's tag team, and they feel like a women's tag team as well. There's normally a lot of women that just get thrown together. These two feel like a proper tag team, so hopefully more for them coming up soon. Mr. Cuds, shout out to you, says, do you think Cody could lose again? At Mania 41 has to be Rock Roman, right? So this could be a launching pad for that, as the Cody crybabies got their way for this Mania. Mr. Cuds, appreciate it. So do I think Cody could lose again? It's a possibility. I don't think it's the option I would choose. I think that it's a possibility, though. Mania 41 has got to be Rock Roman, right? I would say that's the front runner, but I think you could also look to do it at SummerSlam. SummerSlam's a massive show. It's a stadium show. They haven't announced it yet, but looking at the previous SummerSlams, it's always been a big stadium show. I can't imagine that this year is going to be any different. So, obviously, it does depend on where we're going to be and the size of the venue, but it's SummerSlam. I can't see us going back to a smaller venue now. I've got to think it'll be a stadium. So, you could do it there, but Mania 41's probably the front runner, and there are rumors that Mania could be in Las Vegas, which feels right for The Rock. Obviously, Hollywood would be better, but Vegas is still all show. Vegas is still glitz and glamour. It's still everything turned up big time. I kind of feel like that is right for Rock versus Roman. So if it's going to be Vegas, I think this would be the match for that WrestleMania. So could this be a launching pad? Cody Crybaby's got their way for this Mania. Yeah, I mean, if you do Rock Roman, you don't need the title. So if Cody does win, then I don't think it derails anything. I don't think it's a problem. I just think that we're working our way towards Rock Roman, but it's how we get there. When do we get there? So Mania 41, I'd say, is the front runner, yes. Pickle Chips said, I liked it. And I thought The Rock suggesting Guns Up is a hint that Dwayne the Pebble Johnson will be all elite soon. Austin Wilson said Bron Breakker should have gone to Smackdown, but I'm okay with it. I'm excited to see how WWE has got in store for him. Does it mean that Jade goes to Raw? Well, Bron Breakker did go to Smackdown. And that is a bit strange because we expected him to go up against Gunther at WrestleMania. I did anyway, because apparently Gunther Brock was the plan for WrestleMania. That is obviously a Raw match because the IC title and Gunther are on Raw. So Bron Breakker signing with SmackDown does just make me question how we now get that match. And I'm wondering now if we're going down a different path and Bron Breakker is now going to have his own creative, which is fine. I wonder if it's now a bit more likely that we get Bron Breakker versus Logan Paul. I wonder if that's a bit more likely. That's probably... This might not be a great signing for LA Knight, right? LA Knight versus Logan was what I was expecting for WrestleMania, but I also expected Bron to go to Raw. He hasn't. He's gone to SmackDown. So what do you do with him now? How do you use Bron Breakker, right? Obviously, he doesn't need to be around a title immediately, so we can kind of just put him in a feud. That would be fine. But the feud I was expecting was for the Intercontinental title, and it was going to be against Gunther. Well, if we're not doing that, all of a sudden we might have to start having a conversation about Bron and Logan. And as we said, that's probably not a good sign for LA Knight. So definitely we're going down roads I wasn't expecting. So we're going to have to wait and see. And Jade going to Raw, that is another road I wouldn't be expecting, because there's big rumors of her and Bianca as a tag team. And there was big rumors that she was going to SmackDown, and she didn't sign with SmackDown. So if she's going to Raw, that would be another thing that's not going as we expected. So it's kind of all up in the air at the moment. Just cannot get a read of this, and the dirt sheets don't seem to be coming out with accurate information at the moment. So, which I've got to say I really like. This is not a problem. I love the fact we're going off-road. I love the fact that we're doing stuff which we didn't see coming. So it's a very, very exciting time. Mr. Cud said, I think bringing The Rock in has freshened it up a bit, as Roman and the Bloodline story had gone stale for me. But Daze, do you think The Rock will turn on Roman like Mike Tyson? Well, I do think that there will be a turn. I do think that he will turn on him, but I just don't know when. And the more they are making it obvious that it could be this WrestleMania, the more I just naturally think that it's not going to be this WrestleMania. Like, it would be very heelish to, like, plant lots of little indicators and then basically say to the fans, oh, what, you thought this was going to happen? Like, oh, you thought you was really clever, but it not actually go that way. So I think the little Easter eggs are brilliant. I think they're great talking points, as we said earlier, but I am absolutely taking them with a pinch of salt. They are indicators of something that could potentially happen, but they are far from guaranteeing that something would happen. So I am keeping an eye on the situation. I'm looking forward to more little Easter eggs. I'm looking forward to more conversations. But yeah, at the moment, I think a turn will happen. But when? Will it be at WrestleMania? Will it be after WrestleMania? I mean, if we're doing Rock versus Roman at Mania 41, if The Rock turns on Roman at Mania 40, that means then we've got a 12-month build, which we have done before, but you might not want to give yourself that long of a build. You might only want to give yourself, say, a 6-month build or a 3-month build. So, again, it's going to have to be a watch this space. I do think that there will be a turn of some description. And the other conversation is who turns on who? Does Roman turn on The Rock, you know, or do you have The Rock turn on Roman? Who do you want to be the face and who do you want to be the heel when those two finally meet? Because I'm convinced we get that match, right? We were meant to get it this year. I'm convinced we get the match, and WrestleMania 41 would look good for the match. But who do you want to be the face and who do you want to be the heel? I think I want Roman to be the heel and I want The Rock to be the face, which I don't know if that goes against what some of you would do. But I just think The Rock, people love The Rock. People would love to cheer The Rock. And it's not that we wanted The Rock to be heel. It's just we wanted Cody this year, right? And it felt like he pushed Cody out the way and we wasn't standing for that. So that it wasn't really much to do with The Rock. It was more to do with wanting Cody. So I think the fans would definitely accept. I mean, when The Rock's music hit, he got a pop. Like, you know, the people were excited to see him. And then, of course, they were like, oh, yeah, it's heel, and then started booing. So I think that, for me, Rock goes face, keep Roman heel, because heel Roman has been awesome. And I would build towards WrestleMania 41. Cameron says, I could also see LA Knight pinning Logan to set up a WrestleMania match. That's a good shout. That's a good shout. There are a few other stories that can come out of the chamber. So, you know, LA Knight pinning Logan could definitely go that way. Obviously, LA Knight and AJ Styles have been getting in each other's way as well. So that's maybe a situation to keep an eye on if AJ Styles is going to get involved somehow, because he absolutely could. And as you said, you know, there's other matches that can come out of the chamber. LA Knight pinning Logan would then start a feud in that direction. Jade Cargill, if she can get into the chamber, you know, then we can go down the road of her and Bianca doing something together. So, yeah, the thing with the chamber, a lot like the Rumble, it's not always just about who wins. There are definitely other stories that can come out of it. But as I said earlier, Bron Breakker now being on Smackdown does just make me question, what are we doing with him? And is he going to get involved in the United States title picture? So, interesting. Albia said, obvious mockery of Rock for his cousin. Rock has to have Fatu and Zilla come to help him once he turns on Roman at WrestleMania 41. Well, I think Zilla's gone back to Booker T's promotion, I read. And Jacob Fatu, I mean, we know the issues there. So I don't know if anything has changed. Obviously, The Rock is going to have a bit of pull now at the board level. I've got to think that he would be pulling to be bringing in Jacob Fatu. I mean, The Rock going onto the TKO boards could see some movement with Jacob Fatu, but it doesn't guarantee it. But, yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Don't know. I'm a bit split on that, to be honest. I'm not sure. I'm not sure that we will see those coming in. Zilla, though, maybe. But I think I read the other day, gone back to Booker T's promotion. Ilya Punk, shout out to you. At Finish the Story 3 says, The Rock this, The Rock that, blah, blah, blah. Let's talk about the men's elimination chamber match and how stacked it is. 6 big names with Orton, Bobby, Drew, Kevin Owens, LA Knight, and Logan. I can see Logan and Kevin Owens doing some crazy spots in the chamber. I feel like there's a second. Yeah, there is. The cameraman kicks on the ref's head and knocks him out, and they shift the angle to another cameraman, and they see why the cameraman kicked the ref on the head, where the cameraman is removing his hoodie, and it turns out to be AJ Styles, and he could cost Knight the match, and Drew wins. Well, I think that's quite interesting, to be honest, because I do wonder if AJ will get involved, because we have seen, like, him and LA Knight getting in each other's way. So for him to be in there disguised as like a cameraman is quite an interesting concept. Would be an interesting angle and way of doing it. So you absolutely could go down that road. Or, as was mentioned earlier, maybe LA Knight and Logan are going at it. LA Knight eliminates Logan. Logan could then attack LA Knight on a Smackdown in the future, and then we end up getting that match. So my gut feeling was LA Knight Logan is what I thought we were building to. But maybe it could be LA Knight, AJ Styles, and Logan in a triple threat, right? Maybe we could be building to that match. But I got to tell you, the Bron Breakker news has really flipped everything for me, because I felt very confident in Bron Breakker versus Gunther, and I don't feel very confident in it now. So now it makes me question what we're doing with Bron Breakker. Maybe it's a case that Bron Breakker just is not going to be on the WrestleMania cards. But Triple H did put a post out earlier today where he is posing with Bron. And, like, you know, his blurb is like, you know, this is the next big thing. This is the next big deal. He's got that dog in him. It really does kind of build him up. So I think it would be strange to leave him off the WrestleMania card. I think they're going to want to showcase him. But maybe they just do that. Give him a showcase match. Give him a match up against a decent opponent, but an opponent that he gets a victory over, you know, and looks good. And gets a WrestleMania win and makes a statement, sends a message, kind of a thing. The other thing they've started doing, though, in recent years is making the go-home shows feel more important. We've seen, like, the Andre Battle Royal take place on the go-home shows. So there is every chance they give Bron his statement win, but he actually gets his statement win on SmackDown rather than at WrestleMania. Because even though WrestleMania is now 2 days, we've still had mid-card titles and Andre the Giant Battle Royals take place on the go-home SmackDown of WrestleMania rather than WrestleMania itself. So yeah, at the moment, I can't see how the pieces are fitting together. There's lots of options, though. We're not short of options, but it's just what's the final picture going to look like. Gabrielle, shout out to you, said, I genuinely thought this was a flawless episode. New signing, Bron, solid match with Tiffany and Zelina, a great match with Logan and Miz, a showcase of returning talent of Naomi and AOP, fun opening match with R-Truth doing his thing, and of course an epic finale with The Rock's promo. Awesome. I'm glad you enjoyed it. And actually, whilst you're talking about matches, it seems to probably lead us quite nicely into the match scores. So I've got the match scores, and I've got them here. You can see they're in a wonderful spreadsheet, which is just so well presented. But this is how you lot scored the matches. We're going to do this for each of the opinion videos. I'm starting to put them into this spreadsheet. It makes it a lot easier than the way I was doing it before. So you can see that all the matches came out as okay to good, right? So sort of middle of the road, if you will. So they came out okay to goods. And the match that people enjoyed the most was Kevin Owens against Dominic Mysterio. So it came out okay to goods, and its percentage was 94%. And actually, the Tiffany match, the Naomi match, and the Logan Paul match, all of those get in quite close, because Kevin Owens against Dominic Mysterio was 94%. Tiffany against Zelina Vega was 93%. Naomi against Alba Fire was also 93%. Logan against The Miz got 91%. And the AOP squash match, that ended up getting 74%. That was the match that people enjoyed the least, but makes sense, of course. There wasn't really much to it. And what we can do is just have a look and see where we are with the year so far. We might not do this for every show, but because this is the first time of looking at this on this episode of Opinions, it makes sense to have a little look at it. So if we select them all, these are the top matches, right? Or these are all the matches that we've had so far this year. So the top one, right, which was the very first match that we rated, and I think if we were to go back and watch it, I think we would rate it different. I still think it was a very good match, and it deserves to be up here, but I think we just got carried away, or we didn't quite have the system sorted. So this might get re-reviewed, right? But at the moment, it is Nia Jax, Becky Lynch, the very first match of the year. That's the top match. Second, Ilya Dragunov against Trick Williams. Third, Lyra Valkyria against Roxanne Perez. Fourth, Judgment Day against DIY, Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano. And fifth, amazingly, is Bayley winning the Women's Royal Rumble. At the moment, those are the top 5 WWE matches of the year so far, right? So those are the top 5. And if we go all the way down, we can look. We've got reviews for SmackDown, for NXT, for Raw. So the bottom worst match is Ivy Nile against Valhalla at the moment. Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell beating Chelsea Green and Piper Niven is second worst. And Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark beating Chelsea Green and Piper Niven is the third worst. And amazingly, AJ Styles, LA Knight. Now, there was no winner in that match. I always put the winner in green. There was no winner in this match. So this must have had some interference from probably like Roman, I would imagine. Something along those lines as we were building towards the Royal Rumble match. So I think probably because of the outside interference, that's why that's as low as what it is. But yeah, I just thought you'd be interested to have a look at that, and we can continue looking at that as the year goes by. We'll definitely try and do some other bits with that data, but I think it's really interesting data, really interesting. And I kind of like those top matches. They feel right. They feel about right. I mean, I would say those are the matches that I would have up there as well. Whether Nia Jax Becky is the best match of the year, though, as we said, that one kind of bugs me a little bit, because I just think if that was to be on, say, this week's Raw, I don't know that it would get that rating. It may do, but it might not. that was the first time we started doing this system, and I think people were just finding their feet a little bit. So we may re-watch that on the member stream and re-review it, right? I don't know. We'll have to see. But Gabriel, shout out to you. Yeah, all the matches came through okay to goods and pretty strong scores as well. Vamphy says Triple H and The Rock face off and a segment is needed, in my opinion. The show was okay, but I expected way more from The Rock segment-wise. Yes, this was the first introduction to Hollywood Rock, although Triple H saying everything goes through him and that's the final say. While The Rock is on the board of TKO and he's in a much higher position, Triple H, meanwhile, all The Rock said was poking fun at the crowds. I wish they took shots at each other, is all I'm saying. I feel it's going to happen, though it would have made the show better. That's fair. I don't think that's unfair. I think for me, I just wanted a segment that was going to give me some talking points. You pretty much guaranteed that with a Rock segment. But I was looking for a segment that I could do an opinion video on, that we could talk about and chuck around. And that segment delivered for me. I think, as you said, a lot of the stuff which is them firing shots at each other, that's coming. We're definitely gonna get that. This, I think, was just let's introduce heel Rock, right? We haven't quite seen. We had a glimpse of him at the press conference, but let's really introduce heel Rock. Let's see a heel Rock that's gonna go at the crowds. We've already seen him using the Cody Crybabies line, but obviously he went a lot further here. And, you know, he had the Versace jacket on as well. And so he made his way down, laid into the crowds. Obviously, there's those little potential Easter eggs. Certainly, I don't think that is a mistake on his part. You know, there was people on X straight away saying that's an error. Why has he done that? Why he can't even do that right? And it's like, no, he's definitely doing that for a reason, right? That's for a reason. And then when you add in the fact that he said that the Bloodline are the deadliest duo, you go, well, that's interesting as well, isn't it? Because where does this leave Solo? So, you know, I think with the little Easter eggs and the pointing thing, that's given fans something to get their teeth into. And we've managed to, you know, introduce heel Rock and kind of set the tone, I think, for how we're going to present him going forward, how he's going to act going forwards. So we've managed to do that as well. And, you know, we've delivered a segment which I think a lot of people were satisfied with. Maybe not blown away with, but satisfied with, which means that a lot of the stuff people were hoping for, we've still got coming up. So I totally get your point. You know, it would have been a better segment if they were like going at each other and Cody had come out and all that kind of stuff. But it's coming. We'll get that. We'll get that on the road to WrestleMania. Chris said they are really planting the seeds in the OC story that's coming our way. Yeah, that was good seeing Carl Anderson and AJ Styles kind of going at each other. That's very interesting. So heartbreak for the fans of the OC. Thankfully, I don't think there were any, but because that faction's been just a non-entity for a long time. But I'm excited. I'm excited. I want to know what we're going to do with the OC. I mean, I sort of know something, right? I think a few of you will know of something, but we won't talk about it because it's a bit of a spoiler. But in regards to, I'm very interested to see how that develops, right? But AJ Styles, is he just now going to be completely on his own? Are we going to be starting a little war with the OC, or do they just now leave him alone? Yeah, I agree. Very interesting. I think there's definitely something to explore there. Brandon said Sasha Banks, WWE. Don't know, my friend. Pretty confident she is on her way to AEW, with lots of little teases with Boston and stuff like that. I don't think AEW would do that if they didn't have her coming in. So, and I think it's been pretty much confirmed by the dirt sheets that she's been on their wage bill. She's been like signed up for a good little while now, so I think it's pretty nailed on. She's AEW bound. I don't know how long that's going to be for though, and I do think we see Sasha Banks again one day. To be honest, she needs to go in the Hall of Fame. Even at this age, she's done enough to warrant going into the Hall of Fame. She wasn't part of the first ever women's main event of a WrestleMania. I think she was the second one, her and Bianca, at WrestleMania 37. Certainly the first part of the first all-black female. I don't even know if it was the first all-black WrestleMania main event full stop, but certainly the first all-black female WrestleMania main event. So for that reason alone, she's a history maker. And so I don't think too many would argue. I don't think there's going to be too many complaints out there. If you look at like some of the women and other people that have gone into the Hall of Fame, like it's not the highest of bars to get into the Hall of Fame. Sasha Banks has definitely done enough, right? She's definitely done enough, even though she's still in her early 30s. But I think we'll see her again, and hopefully not just for the Hall of Fame. TJ, hashtag we want Cody said, I love how the Dakota factor is playing out. I just hope she stays face. She has an aura, but I honestly feel like turning heel again isn't going to benefit as much. Let her wings spread. Who knows? Maybe she's the next WWE champion instead of Bayley, or could even go to Raw and dethrone Rhea. Yeah, I agree, and I think we need to find a gimmick for her. I think we need to find just a little way of presenting her that allows her to stand on her own 2 feet. I don't know why, but in my mind, I can see her with a crown, and I've seen this for a long time. I just can't get past the King Kota thing. I love the King Kota nickname. There's just something a bit fun about her being a girl but being called King, because obviously most girls would be Queen, but she calls herself King, and King Kota, and King of Kicks, I believe. So like the crown that like Montez wears, which isn't all glitz and glamour, it's not like, a Jerry the King Lawler crown. It's just a little simple thing, right? Just a little simple thing, little simple crown that he has wore like a few times in the past. He doesn't wear it now, but back in the day, early Street Profits, he used to wear it. Something like that. Maybe she could even borrow that. Come out with that. Lean into the King Kota thing and really, really like show off her kicks. I would make sure in each of her matches she shows off like a good 5, 6, 7 different kicks, different kinds of kicks to really get across her kicking variety. You're really looking for something to make her stand out. And, even, is it Lola Vice does that kick where she just rapid fire, bang, 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 bang. And she like moves forward and like her opponent's getting like knocked back into the corner. Like Dakota could steal that. I don't even know if she's got that in her arsenal, but it's, be simple enough to do. But she's got some really good variety of kicks. And I think that she should definitely kind of lean into that, because you don't really see women kind of kicking all that much, but she's got it, and it could make her stand out. And the King Kota thing, and coming down with a crown, I think it could be, there's something there. There feels to me like there's something there. So I would like to see her kind of exploring that and kind of going into that. So I agree. Let her spread her wings, and let's see what we can do with her. Jason says, Rock was the highlight of the night. Sam says, GOAT tier show. I believe The Rock throwing up the gun hand pose thing means he'll probably betray Roman, but the Cody crybabies really ruined WrestleMania. Can't have anything nice like Rock versus Roman Reigns. Well, I think you'll get it. I just don't think it's this year. But I think you'll get it. Fans, I think, still want that match, even the Cody crybabies. But it's just that they wanted to finish the story more this time round. Nikki said, I like the Naomi's new theme. I sort of enjoyed The Rock's heel promo. Thought it could have been better. Crowd was not that against The Rock. It was pretty split. Matches were pretty good. We'll see what Raw brings us. They have to do the face-to-face with all of them. Oh, yeah, and they will. And they will. Melanie said it was bad. I didn't like it. Oh, that's a shame. Rich said, Rock conducted his words tonight, and here's why you can't just budge in places. I agree. Work your way to the top like everyone else. Very true words. So do it, Rock. Cody won the Rumble, and he's the pick. And to talk like Roman about me is not helping both. See you soon. Yeah, I think it's an interesting point that we've kind of touched on it before. People have said, like, doesn't he know that Cody won the Rumble? And obviously on Unseen, there was that great post that we included, that great tweet. I think it was from Patrick the Heel, where he said it makes a lot more sense if you think that The Rock really didn't know that Cody had won the Rumble. If The Rock thinks that Cody is just asking for a rematch and hadn't won the Rumble, all of a sudden everything The Rock says makes a lot more sense. But obviously Cody did win the Rumble, has earned the right to make a choice. But what I would say is that, you know, Cody definitely, there's big holes in this story, which I'm still waiting for them to get explained. And I am a little bit worried that we are moving forward and we're just not going to explain them. Why did Cody step to the side, right? We still not had an answer on this. Why did he step to the side? And why did he, like, say to The Rock that, like, I'm not gonna face Roman? I mean, he basically said to The Rock, you can have him. He said, he said to Roman, I'm not gonna face you at this WrestleMania, right? I'm not gonna face you, just not at WrestleMania. And he did step to the side, and he did walk away, and we did get The Rock and Roman face to face. So the thing is that Cody definitely sent the message to the world that he was going to step to the sides. And so he kind of sent that message, well, he very clearly sent that message to The Rock as well. So we get to the press event. Cody hasn't made his decision officially yet because the crowd were demanding that he finish the story. But you can understand why The Rock started kind of showing off the family tree, and understand why The Rock was like building towards him and Roman and everything, because Cody had kind of made it clear, I'm not going to challenge Roman. So I feel like this, to me, it doesn't make Cody look good. Cody looks like a undecisive idiot that just flip-flops around and changes his mind, right? Doesn't make Cody look brilliant. And then, like, The Rock and Roman, like, talking about how it's going to be the biggest match, and Roman saying, look, I'll make the decision for Cody, considering he still hasn't done it. We're doing this match. You know, Cody coming out and being all upset and everything, it's like, well, yeah, I mean, you are dilly-dallying, right? You can understand people not wanting to just wait around and get on with stuff. So I kind of think, like, none of this has been explained. And I really would like that side of it explained. And The Rock kind of acting like he doesn't know that Cody won the Rumble. That's a little bit weird as well. I did say about the promo, though, maybe The Rock does know that Cody won the Rumble. Maybe he is just winding up the fans. Perhaps we as fans are like, no, he won the Rumble. Like, what are you on about? Because he kept talking about these teams. Could you imagine if they lost the Super Bowl and they just wanted a rematch straight away? It's like, no, that's not the same. It's not. That's not what is happening here. Cody lost, but then he won the Rumble. He has qualified to get another match. He is allowed another opportunity because he won the Royal Rumble. But what if The Rock is aware of all of that, doesn't care, right? Wants to wind you up, and is kind of going down this path to wind you up, right? Because it was frustrating. And perhaps that's the exact reaction that he was looking for. So I don't know if I'm just giving him too much credit, right? I don't know if I'm just being too kind But, mate, I don't know. It's a tricky one, isn't it? It's a tricky one. Because there's still these glaring holes in the current story that we're telling because we've pivoted. It's very difficult to know as to whether they are just going to move on from it and not explain it, or if we are using it to make the fans angry. And it's kind of tricky to know. It's just it's a mess, to be honest. This whole thing has been a mess, but they're just trying to, I think, mop it up the best they can. But I think a lot of us could have found a better way of mopping it up so far, right? I think a lot of us could have explained as to why things have gone nowhere. There are reasons, there are explanations. You can easily explain it. Maybe it will still come out. Maybe this is still going to be explained as to what was said, why Cody stepped aside, why Cody was so indecisive. We know the fans played a part, right? But it would be great to just hear what's happened, you know, in kayfabe, not in real. We know what happened in real, but it'd be great to hear the kayfabe side of it. So, yeah. Rich, shout out to you. RDog7190 said, Daze, this is Raphael, and Smackdown was good, about a 7 out of 10. Best parts are where they both show Damage Control and Bailey to continue the EO Bailey storyline, and of course The Rock confirming his status as part of the Bloodline whilst bringing back his Hollywood gimmick. Yep. I agree. I'm into the fact that they've kept the Damage Control name, which I thought was very interesting. And EO Bailey continued to put a bit of builds there. Dakota kind of caught, not in the middle. She's definitely with Bailey, but Bailey doesn't know whether she can trust her. And that's interesting. I've seen a lot of people online going, no, you can trust her, you can trust her. People are invested in that. So, yeah, good. Razzie said, Avengers Endgame scenario ending is very possible for Cody versus Roman. I have never seen Avengers. I have never seen Avengers Endgame, so I can't really comment on that. But I'm sure people out there have. And you'll have to let me know if that is where we're going. Are WWE taking booking tips now from the Marvel Cinematic Universe? I would hope not, personally, but yeah, maybe in this case it is a similar scenario. Matt said, just here to say your WWE content is the best on YouTube. Keep killing it. P.S. Heel Rock is going to be a fun ride. Matt, shout out to you. I'm really pleased you enjoy it. Yeah, I want to get these opinion videos to kind of really stand on their own 2 feet as well, because I think this is a great way of interacting with more of you. And I think that's, you know, what we're looking to do. I try to interact with as many as I can during the live streams, but obviously that's a little bit of a challenge because there's so much going on. There's breaking news. There's things to react to on the show. Obviously, the super chat's coming in. So trying to get into the chat and like explore comments is a little bit tricky. We've definitely got a bit of time we can sit down and like do what we're doing here and give it its own space. So, and we can look at the scores for the matches, talk about the show, throw a few ideas and theories around. I do want to start like providing my kind of a score, if you will. I still haven't kind of figured out how to present that in these videos, but I think for me, this week's show was like around about a 7.25, maybe go into a 7.5. I don't think it quite hit the 8 mark for me. I don't think there was like matches that were... we were lacking maybe great matches. I think if you look at the match scores, they all came out as okay to goods, and I would agree with that. I don't think there was anything here that's going to really live long in the memory from an in-ring point of view. The Rock segment I thought was really captivating. Definitely the highlight of the show. I know a lot of people wanted more. It ticked the boxes for me. It maybe didn't blow my mind, and it's maybe not something we're going to talk about forever, right? Because I think there will be bigger promo segments coming up very soon, right? So this will be one that kind of gets not forgotten, but pushed down the pecking order a little bit. But for something to watch on a Friday night, no complaints from me. So yeah, 7.25, 7.5. you know, if I'm feeling generous, I might go to that 7.5. But I think the in-ring action just caught. If there was like, you know, a couple of banging matches in there, now we're talking. But it felt like we had just a pretty standard episode of SmackDown with this monster segment strapped onto the end of it. But good to see Logan having a TV match. Do have to shout that out. So, Matt, shout out to you. I appreciate the kind words, my friends. Chris said, making The Rock heel is 1,000% the right call. I was for Cody, but this is so epic. This is The Rock we all wanted. Timothy said, Daze, was it me or did Heyman seem off? Seemed like he was disgusted at The Rock getting the spotlight. And every movement, he put his hand to his face like he was cringing. Even look at Roman's face. He didn't seem happy. The whole thing seems off to me. I will have to rewatch to look at Heyman's reaction. Not something I paid attention to be honest. I did look at Roman. I can't say that I picked up on anything from Roman. But yeah, I'll have to rewatch and have a look at Heyman. That's an interesting one. I think quite a few people watching this will do that now. Hawkins Jr. said, I really feel like this could be the breakout premium live event for Tiffany Stratton. I'm really looking forward to the women's chamber match. Most people will tell you Becky should win the match, but what if WrestleMania becomes Tiffy Mania? I don't know that I share the same level of excitement about Tiffany Stratton as maybe Hawkins Jr. does. I think she is talented, solid, someone that you would build. I don't know that I would pull the trigger personally and have her like winning the chamber, competing for the women's title like straight out of the gates. I think there was a couple of promos, one in particular in NXT that really kind of halted her momentum for me. I remember her doing a live promo in the ring and it was bad. And I think up until that point, I was all aboard the Tiffy hype train. Her in-ring is very good. Prettiest moonsault looks fantastic. She's obviously got a very distinctive look. It's kind of Barbie-esque. That's, you know, fashionable, what with the movie not coming out too long ago. And being part of like award season. So it's being mentioned still. So she's probably the closest we've got to a real life Barbie, but she's a real life Barbie that can wrestle, that can actually do some stuff in the ring. But her live promo on NXT, I think just kind of halted her momentum a little bit for me, to the point where I was actually surprised they called her up. But because it felt like there was more to work on. But then I suppose you think, well, there's always more to work on, isn't there? Like, you're never going to be the finished article. There's always going to be things you can improve. And how often is she going to be in a ring with a live microphone? They'll probably ever just do like backstage promos for quite a while. So yeah, I like the fact that I was surprised they called her up. I feel like her live in-ring promos need work. Could have been just a bad day at the office. Maybe they were like, that's not you, you know? That's not what you're normally like. Normally you're better than this. So perhaps like what looks to me to be an issue was maybe just a bad day. So I don't know. I'll be very interested to see her in a ring with a live microphone and see how she does, to be honest, because that's the big area of concern I've got. Wrestling wise, I think she's good. I think she's solid. And we'll see. But yeah, I'm probably not as eager to be like, go, go, go. Let's get her to the title. Let's have her win the chamber. I'm probably very much like, let's take our time. We don't need to like maybe rush quite as quick. But there's a lot of Tiffany Stratton fans out there that definitely would be. Maybe Hawkins Jr. Well, seems like Hawkins Jr. is one. And that would be like, go, go, go. So we'll see. She's a good talent. She is. Demi said, I think it was a good show. I'm still confused as to why they signed Bron to SmackDown. Same. I think Raw was better for him. Same. Maybe Bron versus Logan. Maybe. Feel like me and Demi are like on the same page there. I'm also confused. I think Raw was better. And we have spoke about Bron Logan being an option. So I'm right there with you. Prakar, shout out to you, said, I want Cody to win at Mania. Then on SmackDown, Solo Jimmy turn on Roman. We hear news that Roman for now is done with wrestling. We won't see him for the next few years. But at Rumble 25, entrant number 30 is Roman. He wins, and at Mania 41, he finishes his story by beating Cody. I love the idea of Roman finishing his story. Prakar, shout out to you. Alex said, I'm wondering what the plan for Bron and Jade are at WrestleMania. I thought we'd be getting Bron Gunther, same, and Jade Bianca. I thought Jade Bianca as a team, actually. But even so, if she goes over to Raw, hard to see her doing anything with Bianca. But if they're on opposite brands, I've no clue who they can face. Thoughts? Well, I feel like Jade and Bron are quite similar in the sense that they are big and strong and new, and both could get showcase matches. So both could win Battle Royals. Bron could win the Andre Battle Royal. Jade could win the Women's Battle Royal if we're bringing that back. I don't know that we are. We probably should. So, you know, you could go down that road. You could also just put them in there against a good level of opponent. Not a jobber, but like a good opponent that you're like, yeah, I think they'll beat them, but it's going to be tricky. And you put them in there against them and they get like a good win and they look like, you know, really, really good. You know, like Bron against Ricochet, something like that. And so you could go down that road. Or you could like put them onto WrestleMania and have... You could do Bron. Who's got the... So, Bron Logan. I'm trying to think who's got the belts. But who can Jade go after? I mean, to be honest, a singles match for Jade is a little bit tricky because I don't think she is that far along. She is someone that... I think she can have a match, right? But there's probably going to be some mistakes in there. So, got to be really, really careful. Got to be really careful with how we present her. So, to be honest, a multi-person match for her, or put her in a tag team. But if she goes over to Raw, we're going to need to find like a partner for her so that she can then be in a tag team. Did they not do WrestleMania showcase matches last year where we had like 4 teams? Do you remember that? 4 women's teams competing in like a match, and then wasn't it like 4 men's teams competing in a match? Maybe we do something like that again, which I was not that keen on, to be honest. I'd much rather we do the Battle Royal. I'd much rather we do the Battle Royals. But yeah, we did do WrestleMania showcase tag matches last year. Could it be that Bron and Jade find their way into those? I mean, I don't hope not. I don't want them at all. But yeah, you know, that's maybe what we're looking at. Certainly Jade, I think, needs protecting a bit more than Bron. I'd feel a bit more confident that they'll give Bron a singles match at WrestleMania than I would Jade. But watch this space. Rizo said, just getting in there early by saying Jade against Tiffany is a future WrestleMania main event. Reese said, SmackDown was decent. Elimination Chamber matches look stacked. A lot of hidden messages in The Rock's promo. Still feel at Mania, Rock turns on Roman and helps Cody win, then walks out with Solo and Jimmy. Roman comes back at SummerSlam, challenges The Rock for WrestleMania 41. Henry said, I've been thinking what's going to happen at WrestleMania. Rock might interfere. Cody versus Roman. Then Stone Cold comes out and helps Cody. But it would be interesting if Dustin comes back. But he won't. But what are your thoughts? It would be great for Dustin, but he's under contract, isn't he, with AEW? And I'm struggling to see it. I wouldn't have quite this many bells and whistles. I think... For me, all that kind of noise is fine, but it can't be the reason that Cody wins. Cody has got to win on his own. So you can have Stone Cold come down to deal with The Rock, right? You could absolutely do that, and it would be amazing, right? So The Rock's in Roman's corner. Someone's got to deal with him. glass shatters, down comes Stone Cold. He starts pounding away on The Rock. They're brawling. You could absolutely do that, right? You could have someone deal with Jimmy, and as you said, Dustin would be amazing. Maybe we have to go with someone like Randy Orton. So you have Stone Cold and Orton coming down, right? But at the end of the day, all of that noise is noise, and loud noise if you're going to have Stone Cold and Rock going at it, right? But they need to go, and then it needs to come down to Roman and Cody, because I don't want Cody finishing his story because, you know, Roman was distracted. I don't want Roman to have that excuse. So for me, the noise is fine, and the Stone Cold shout, I think, is very exciting. Very exciting. But at the end of the day, it needs to be them two in a ring on their own. They need to go at each other for a good few minutes at least, back and forth, trying to outmaneuver each other, and then hopefully Cody can pick up the victory. No outside interference. He finishes his story. No distraction. Blah blah blah, and job done. So yeah, I love some of the suggestions, but I think my bigger concern would be, does Cody do it on his own at the end of the day? I really hope he does. Robert said, another great show. SmackDown is stacked with amazing talent. I don't see them putting on any bad shows anymore with what they have. I'm very excited for the future. Watson said, SmackDown always feels bigger with Roman on, but also with The Rock. It just was a sight to behold. This could be special. Even now, this isn't the way they wanted to go. Also, was good to see Logan finally have a match on TV. Crater Face said, to be fair, bud, The Rock's promo was cool. I didn't expect anything less, but it seemed like he really didn't give any kind of reply to Triple H's comments on Raw. Don't you think he would have acknowledged something about that? What are your thoughts? So yeah, Triple H basically said, you know, everything comes through me. People don't know their role. I agree. I think that he should have acknowledged those comments. I think this promo is more about, you know, I'm planting my flag. I'm here. I'm the heel Rock. Like, this is how I'm going to be presented now. I'm now officially part of the bloodline. I'm officially now going to be everybody's problem, right? I kind of got that message from it. So he didn't really reply to Triple H directly, but indirectly, he's kind of saying, I'm here now. Like, I ain't budging. Like, and I'm going to be a big problem. So I would expect them to have a confrontation. I would expect Rock and Roman to be, you know, turning up unannounced at like Raw and causing trouble. And, you know, Triple H, no doubt Triple H and The Rock will be face to face and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I don't disagree. I think that there was a few parts of the promo which, you know, him talking about Cody and not really acknowledging that Cody had won the Rumble and earned that rematch, that bugged people. The fact that he didn't speak to Triple H is a really good shout. You know, he didn't respond to Triple H. That bugged people. We didn't find out what Cody had said to him to make him, like, why Cody had stood to the side. You know, that really should have come from Cody's promo, but we didn't even get that information from The Rock's promo. So again, we've got these glaring holes in the past as well. So yeah, I mean, it is true. This is far from a perfect story so far because of the pivots. I think also it probably doesn't help that The Rock's brought in his own writer, like Brian Gerwitz, because I don't know how well Brian is working with WWE's creative, but I can't imagine adding another voice into the pot is going to make things better, right? I would imagine WWE would much rather they just everything go through them. Maybe we're seeing a little bit of consistency issue, you know? Maybe The Rock's off writing his own bits. This was unscripted, but unscripted in a official capacity. It doesn't mean that The Rock wasn't coming up with his own stuff. He's got his own writer, Brian Gerwitz. So as they're on private jets, as they're, you know, sat in the bus, you know, of course they're going to be talking about like things to say, right? Of course they're going to be coming up with stuff. So I kind of look at it and think maybe there's a little bit of an issue there where it's not quite as cohesive as what we would like. And maybe part of the problem is that The Rock's got his own writer and we're not kind of completely singing off the same hymn sheet. And maybe also part of the problem is that it was unscripted, because maybe he was meant to say something about Triple H's comments but ran out of time or forgot, because there was not a script to actually stick to. There was just like some bullet points. And maybe he didn't get to the Triple H bullet points. So I don't know. I agree. I think this is... It's difficult, isn't it? It's difficult. It's difficult because like we're going down roads we weren't expecting. And we don't want the talent to be like chained up to a script when they are so capable of cutting promos like The Rock can cut. But then equally we get upset if like the little details aren't taken care of as well. So it's kind of like we want The Rock to be going off script and be The Rock and be who he is, but equally we want him to make sure all the little details are being filled in as well. So we want a lot, basically. We want a lot. Rico said, I need a babyface Kevin Hart to confront a heel Rock at WrestleMania in his hometown. Kevin can even have Philly acknowledge him. The script writes itself. That's excellent. I do love that suggestion. Luke said, wasn't Bron supposed to face Gunther? Well, it was a rumor that it was going to happen. I swear he said he wasn't finished with Judgment Day. They're both on Raw. What's going on? And when's the draft? With the new graphics team, we could get random superstar selector for drafts. Well, the draft's going to be a little bit down the road. I mean, that won't be until after WrestleMania. So I don't think we can rely or wait for a draft. I don't know what's happening. I thought that we were getting Bron Gunther. It felt like going to Raw would make the most sense, but the changes with WrestleMania will have a knock-on effect, because all of a sudden now whatever plans they had for Seth have changed, because that was going to be Seth Cody. Well, all of a sudden it's not going to be Seth Cody. So what do you do with Seth? So that's changed things now, and that probably is having a knock-on effect, because whoever now faces Seth, or whatever we do with Seth, who were they facing before? So this thing goes all the way down the chain. Just changing that one main event, that WrestleMania main event, it's going to have a knock-on effect. So as a result of that, I don't know if now we're seeing a ripple effect, and part of that ripple effect may be that we planted seeds for Bron to go to Raw, but now he's actually ended up going to SmackDown. So, I don't know. I think rather than like frying our brains trying to figure it out, there's a few things we can afford to just watch and let them play out. Rock's promo made no sense, said Gunther's Shop. Talking about Cody thinking he gets his rematch just because he wants it, and that's how it works in the real world, is dumb. He won the Rumble to get the rematch. I like The Rock is heel, but the promo didn't do it for me. No, but as I said earlier, I'm going to give him benefit of the doubt. Did he do that just to wind you up, frustrate you, annoy you, right? Was that done by design to get those reactions? Because I think everyone reacted that way, like, what are you on about? Like, don't you know, like, what's going on? Like, frustration, anger, annoying people. If those are the kind of emotions he wants to bring out, I think he managed to achieve it. So part of me thinks that he's very good, one of the greatest on the mic, and he clearly was aware, he clearly knows that Cody won the Rumble. Did he do it by design to wind us up? Am I giving him too much credit? Don't know. Casual LA Night Enjoyer, yes! Is there a better place to end than Casual LA Night Enjoyer, right? Do I follow Casual LA Night? I think I did. I will change that again. Right, Casual LA Night Enjoyer said, I loved The Rock's promo, and overall, the show was good. However, I've got two things I didn't like. Dom not going to Elimination Chamber because of R-Truth, and then how Raw is buried because SmackDown gets every star. Well, Yeah, I think Dominic going into the chamber, I think, was unlikely. Certainly when he was up against Kevin Owens. I think Owens, you would expect him as the bigger single star to go into the chamber. Dominic could have gone in and then bumped around. We could have gone that way. But no, I think Kevin going in makes sense. And Bron going to SmackDown, yeah, it really is one of the big talking points. I think it's caught a lot of people off guard. I think it's surprised a lot of people, but we'll see where that goes. We'll see where that leads. And with that, we are out of time. So thanks a lot for checking out this opinions video. Apologies if we did not get to your opinion, your thought, your theory. We had over 50. I think there was even more quoted tweets as well. So we didn't even get to those. So it is that way. We give ourselves the hour. We try to get through as many as possible. But we will do this again following Raw on Monday, so you'll have another opportunity coming up in just a couple of days' time. So thanks a lot for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.